Hey YouTube, Incendar here. Hope everybody's doing great. Today I want to take a second and talk about optimizing worker lodging in Calpheon. I get asked this quite a bit, and this will just make it easier. I can just send a link of this video pretty much. The reason I really like Calpheon is you can have up to 102 workers here, and it's a good hub for all your materials coming in from workers, but it's also good for a lot of other things like the workshops and the proximity to Epheria, for example, with the Sailboat. And of course, the Battleship that's coming, which will require even more workers. You can actually send them from here to all these places around here. So it's really working out well for me. Now, originally, when I first started the game, I would have all these tiny cities and load them up with workers to try to optimize how fast they got to each location. This worked out great, optimized really well. The problem is I got up over 100 workers and got a more complicated supply chain here. Is the items would be in each of these little places, and I would have to transport and spend a lot of time transporting from city to city. And of course, as this expands, it just gets worse and worse to the point where you have to transport 3 or 4 times a day. So I try to do this a little better way. Right now, I'm testing out having all the workers in Heidel, for example, bring in all the cooking stuff, and everybody in Calpheon pulling up all the lumber and mining. And you can see up here if I pull lumber or mining where all the nodes are. Pretty much I just have all those going to Calpheon now. Alright, so let me pull up a sheet here I did real quick. This sheet actually shows the most optimized CP per worker lodging. So at the top here you can see Calpheon South, for example. You're spending 5 CP but getting 8 workers, which is a 1.6 ratio. The ratio I currently have for this entire city, I have 51 workers for lodging. I got the 1 free everybody gets for each city, and then there's a pearl shop item for 3. I'll show you where that is real quick. If you go to function all the way at the bottom here, you'll see Calpheon worker lodging. There's 3 you can buy max per family, 200 pearls each, so 600 pearls. I guess $6 or probably less. That gives you 3 workers. It's pretty good if you can get that. That can help out here and save you some CP. Now, let's take a look a little closer into Calpheon and what I have set up here. If we choose lodging up there, you'll see we'll get little blue arrows for everything. The most efficient, and let me pull up that sheet real quick, and you can pause it here and take a look at what we have anytime. I can tell South Calpheon is the most efficient at 1.6 ratio. And that'll be these 3 down here. So if you're starting out, those are the first ones you want to pick up for CP ratio. And of course, as you expand, you can refer to this. You can get, like I said earlier, 102 workers into Calpheon. It's a little complicated. They're not all in this city, and I'll explain that in a few minutes. But the CP ratio goes really down. So these are the top ones. After that, it gets a little trickier and a little more expensive in CP. But 55 workers here is pretty good for anybody, right? All right. So the next one we have market. And that is, I'm going to go now to purchase, which is houses I own and this is the market group. The other thing that's nice about this setup is you do get a lot of storage, and I'll get into that in a little bit. And of course, then there's Calpheon North. There's actually 3 more houses here you can get. And then I have this section down here, Calpheon East. The big thing you want to look at, all right, I'm spending 2 CP, getting 2 workers. You want to spend the least amount of CP possible. Of course, there is some, if you want a few less workers, you can just pick which houses have less ratio. But just refer back to that little spreadsheet, and that should give you a good idea. Now let me zoom out here so you can get a better view of what's going on. I'll do purchased. And oh, looks like it's not working now. Okay. And you can see how I have this set up in 4 different segments of houses. South, East, Market, and North. Now, one really interesting thing about how cities work in this game, smaller cities like Northern Wheat, actually, whatever lodging you get there and storage you get there feeds into the main city, so Calpheon. Now, there's one that's really interesting here, and it's called Gambino Farm to the southwest here. Now take a look at this guy. You'll notice this is a level 5 lodging, and that gives you 8 workers for a 3 CP. Of course, it does have some prereqs, but this is interesting because you can pick up all these storage units here. And let me look at the ratio on this one. We're looking at 7 CP for 8 workers total. So 1.14, really good. So you're going to get the storage and those 3. And then you're going to get this one right here, which is a great 8 workers in 1 lodging. And of course, that'll feed into your Calpheon and really add up to the amount of workers you can have. This is a work in progress, but as far as the results so far, of course, I still got the fish from the fish test. I will do something with that eventually. You can see I've got all the logs and ore coming in here. Perfect for processing. The other reason I like this a lot is because if you're doing trade crates, obviously you're going to be doing them in Epheria or Trent, depending upon where your workers are. But you can even do Calpheon too. This whole area is just so great for processing your trade crates. Send off, far away. So that's why I really like Calpheon lately. And I'll do another video here for Hydel and what the best optimization is. And let me just pull up the spreadsheet one more time so you can take a look at exactly what I did. Click subscribe to get notifications of any new videos. Visit Incendar.com. I put all the tools I actually use in game there. Leave a comment if there was a video you would like to see or you think is missing. And thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you guys next time.